I've got these people waiting. Should I just let them in and we'll get
let them in, let them in.
I'll play some music. Listen to this. Tell me if you can hear it. It's coming. Hear this.
Yeah, I'm hearing. Yeah. That's cool. Hello, everybody.
I woke up this morning, sunshine in my eyes.
Good morning. Okay.
I know I'm not perfect,
We'll just let this roll for a minute.
Stumble, get up, I keep it moving. Trouble won't let up, I keep it moving. Diamonds for pleasure, it's joy that I'm choosing. I keep it moving. Look up, oh, I got my blessings. No stress, I got pure intentions. Look up, oh, I got my blessings. One day at a time, live my life, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Good morning.
Hi, Georgie. Nice to see you. It didn't have a theme tune before, so hello. Good morning, LJ.
Morning.
LJ, Chris. This is LJ, who I told you about, the owner of the Cell Workout Prison Training Company.
Yeah. Well, I love the concept of cell workout, and actually in reality you can do so much once you're there and you have time, plenty of time. So normally it's just like, yeah, that's just awesome work.
It's great to meet you, man. I checked out your Insta, like the workouts, it's quality.
I have my friend, we've got like about at least an hour together, so
yeah.
I have my friend Sean joining as well. So a very, very good friend of mine. Sean got me back to boxing when I was in a very difficult time in my life. So welcome to Sean Patterson. Hello,
hey,
dude. Look, I've got some legends on the call. So happy. You looking good. Sean's obviously always in shape.
How about that, mate?
Tara's in bed, but you're probably going to feel guilty after we start moving.
I feel guilty. Oh, I'll go put some leggings on. I don't like working out.
Oh, Tara likes your French accent in the chat.
Oh, you're not supposed to tell him that. I just added ooh la la.
And Chris is married. Georgie.
Thanks, Robert.
And Georgie, just always a great supporter. So I appreciate you coming, Georgie. Thank you. Lovely to see you.
Okay.
And
wow.
you. Morning.
Morning, Georgie.
Morning.
This is the last temple of the year. We did it 15 times. We set the goal to do it until the end of this year. So thanks for everyone for turning up, and thank you to Chris for supporting us on this one. How are you? Good morning, Chris.
I'm just ready. Good morning. I'm just ready to start. It's itching.
Oh, good.
And you? Good?
I'm good, man. So I've got these questions written down. I've got 4 questions. The first question is obvious. The first question is an obvious introduction, and then I wanted you to show us what you want to show us for however long, really, and do your session and show us what you do with your clients. And then we'll talk a bit more about your life afterwards. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's good.
So my first question, very formal. Just tell us who you are and what you do and how you got started. That's the best question.
It's about like 19 years ago. I mean, I was working in restaurants and stuff, so having a lifestyle of drinking, smoking, 3 packs a day, drinking. I was at 145 kilos. I think I wasn't doing any sports. I never really liked sports because I never really found something that I liked. How can I say? I walked into a gym and I heard music and I was just like, oh, I'm not interested in bodybuilding, so I want to do something a bit different. So I was, at that time, it was Capra. I've heard and I started to try this art form. And from there, I just discovered that there's so many art forms of combat. Then I wanted not to know them all, but I wanted to explore what works, what doesn't. And then I start. But then 1 or 2 years down the line, I start teaching. And then again. And then because I start teaching, I start training more, I start getting injuries. So then I start going into brain function, osteopathy, physiotherapy to understand a little bit more how the body works. And step by step, I went to pick a few different combat sports to add to this whole methodology of training in general. So yeah, how can I say? I don't think I'm a talented guy. I'm thinking of being a super hardworking person. So I worked my butt off to just get the things I wanted because I didn't want to be anything good in anything that I'm not choosing. Yeah. That's it.
So where you grew up in Paris, is that correct?
Yeah, I grew up in Paris. And like in that time in the 90s, if you didn't know how to fight, you're in trouble because you cannot get out anywhere without your parents, your brothers, or anything. So I had to learn how to fight, kind of. But yeah, I've learned from a young age to train like Rocky. So there was a kid who was beating me all the time. So then after watching Rocky a few times, I got a few moves and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna beat him. I didn't beat him the first day, but after a month of training, I actually beat him. He beat me every day and then the last month, then I started beating him. And then it put that thing in my head. But in life, especially with the life we have, we can work so much sometimes, then you just forget all these things. And it's a thing that kind of inside of your heart and you don't do. So I end up doing that.
That's crazy. Like the story of George St. Pierre and Conor McGregor, both of them said they were getting beaten up, you know, and that's why they started learning. Yeah. It was the start of their whole life, you know.
Yeah.
Paris. Have you seen the film Le Haine?
Yeah, I even know Vincent Cassel, but don't say it.
Is it? Wow, what a
legend. Capoeira. Yeah. Lion, yeah, definitely.
Amazing. That's an amazing film. So I can see you. There's a boxer in that film, isn't it?
Yeah, it's I mean, I believe France and England have a very similar culture within the inspiration, especially from the 90s. It's always I've been following. I don't think it was any different in here. I think it was really pretty much the same.
I love it. No, I love it. I love that culture and the 90s and everything and the football and everything. Lastly, before we do in your workout, so capoeira you said you chose a lot of different combat sports. So what is your combat sports? And then you can show us some stuff. After starting to train, what I understood is like, no matter what fight you do or no matter what thing you do, it's always going to be a matter of distances. You have only a few distances that you use to fight. You have your feet, your hands, your knees, your elbows, your head, and your shoulders. You don't really use more than that. The rest is like going on the ground. So I just wanted to pick art form. So I took Muay Thai because of the warfare. Muay Thai is not a combat sport, really. It's a warfare martial art that has been now practiced. So this and some weaponry like Kali made me understand the how do you say, different concept about fighting in general or about combat in general. Because if you fight with the weapon, it's an extension of your arm, but it has different dangers. And when you simplify that to boxing, it makes the boxing word, in my opinion, well, easier to understand. Let's put it this way: someone stab you with a knife, or with someone punch you, it's a different feeling. You're not really triggered the same. So if a knife is dangerous, a punch less, kind of. So yeah, that's where it starts. It's just so now it's the last bit where for me this part is important in the sense that either in everything we do there must be love, in the sense that it's either you love what you do or you love the results of what you do. So if a knife is dangerous, a punch less, kind of. So yeah, that's where it starts. It's just now it's the last bit where for me it's this part is important in the sense that either you love what you do or you love the results of what you do. Otherwise,
But if you don't do something that you love in an activity, in a physical activity, for me, you are gonna, your life takes you at least 8 hours to work, 8 hours to sleep, so that's 16 hours gone. And then what do you have with the rest? If you don't put something that you love, if it's boxing, kickboxing, or any combat sports, there's no age, there's no this, there's no nothing to start. The only thing you need is the will and give yourself the time. But that's it. So, Tara, you doing something else? Yeah, Tara.
Exercise.
You
Yeah, no.
in general.
I do yoga, and
Okay.
I just started with a personal trainer to do some more core strength. So, but it's like a dynamic. He's great. He's sort of trying to bring yoga stretches. Dynamic, it's putting weights in. I think the whole pandemic mentally made me feel very uncentered and a little bit weak, and that was quite scary for like emotionally. And because I can't deal with the certainty or uncertainty of the pandemic, I thought getting into a training regime that made me feel strong, where I could take that into my life. How
did it? Is it working for you?
Well, the first thing that I really saw was I've never squatted properly in my life because my butt's never hurt so much. I mean, afterwards, like, oh my God. And that was one of the reasons that I'd never really like spent the time or the money in the gym or with a personal trainer. But it's like, if you need an expert on anything else, I really got that doing these exercises, he combines movement, core. So I'll do like dynamic lunges in 3 parts, a bit like the dips that you were just doing. So the punching. So you're working on there's kind of cardio hit-ish, but also weight and strength. But then you need to be doing it correctly, otherwise you're going to fall over and hurt yourself. So there's a place I get in yoga, which is stepping outside of my thought patterns. Because in yoga you have to do the breathing and the movement at the same time. I don't know if any of you guys do yoga or have done yoga. There's a great discipline.
Well,
so that's what I do.
Yoga. I do not. I've studied a little bit of yoga. The only thing that I know about yoga is doing exercise in movement. So in reality, most of the exercise you do is always going to be yoga, kind of, because as long as you breathe and move, it is yoga. But another part on that, and I'll share one thing with you after. One thing of that is that flexibility is always going to be combined with strength. If you don't have the strength, you can't be flexible. If you're not you'll never be flexible if you don't have the strength. Basically.
The thing is, I am so flexible. It's in back. Like I can still, at middle age, I can bend in way, the human body, but I'm not very strong. And yoga used to keep me centered. They do something. The same stance that you have for boxing is called the mountain pose, where you stand and you ground yourself with a slightly wider stance, which would be where you take that. It's really interesting to do the things over the disciplines. But yeah, I'm not very strong anymore. Like when I was young, it was easy to gain, I guess, muscle mass and lose it. Now I just lose it.
Yeah.
I think it's because of the age I'm at, sitting in a pandemic 2 years or whatever it's been,
you got to work out.
It's not because of the age, but it's the same for anything. So if you take a car and you let's imagine, Sean, what would be your favorite car? If I'm telling you you can get a car today, what will it be?
I've got simple pleasures, mate. I'll take anything, but I don't know. I quite like a Land Rover, something like that. Quite like.
Huh? Which one?
Land Rover.
Like a Land Rover, something like that. I'm quite nothing too flashy for me.
Land Rover, okay. A Land Rover. See, Tara, if I take a brand new Land Rover and I leave it in the garage for 10 years, 10 years. Do you think after 10 years I can take my key, put it in there, and the car will even open? No. And the thing is, a lot of the time we associate skills and we talk about muscle memories, but there's one thing that is pretty simple in muscles in general, and that's why after time we're losing this ability. Yeah. Now all of you we can try that. Close your eyes, take your index. Your right index. Close your eyes, take your right index. yeah, your right index, and put it on your left big toe, straight. Take your finger and put it on your left big toe straight. You see, you're looking for it. You're looking for it. You're not finding it. Why? Because when we kids, we know where our limbs are, and if we don't need someone to sting us with something to find that. But when we grow, we lose this ability because we wear socks. We do so many different things. Muscles work as a contraction. Muscle doesn't grow out of, let's say, you just working on them. That's how muscles work. In all the body, it's the same. At the beginning, the connection is like that. That's not strong enough to hold me. Then the connection becomes like that because I'm practicing a little bit more. And then I'm practicing a little bit more. Then I practice more. I practice more. I practice more. I practice more. From there, I can hold. So you need to practice, and even by thinking about it, you can actually do the same work. You don't necessarily need to do the action to neurologically connect your muscles. But I'll come back to that, and I guess we should definitely do another one. Sean, what about you? Boxing, and what else?
Yeah, just love boxing, football. A few things you said at the start, Chris, really resonated with me. I get injured all the time. Rob can attest to that. I'm like the most injured person ever, but I've got all the will and the drive to want to keep active. I'm pushing on now. I'm getting on for 40. But literally, you know, I want to do football and boxing still, but my body just seems to be breaking down constantly. So, but yeah, so that was something that I thought, yeah, I feel that. But also, yeah, again, not the most talented. But for me, if you're going to do something, you've got to give it 110%. So you said that at the start, you know, the drive, the will to actually just keep practicing and keep trying to get better is, you know, overseas sometimes, you know, talent, you know. Overseas sometimes, you know, talent, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But it's a thing to work on. And I'll come back to that. And on I mean, a small note. I guess I'm hearing a bit of everyone. I know, Rob, I know we're supposed to be getting there, but if you guys have time, if you guys have to leave, please tell me. I'm not gonna keep you there, but for me, it's an opportunity to know you more and to find a little bit more about you and how can actually, the purpose is to help, really. Yeah, it's like finding a way. So on injuries, I have a few things as well to tell you, because it's pretty simple, but we don't listen to these things most of the time. Georgie, what about you?
So I have been doing weightlifting for about 6 years now, and I've kind of been out of strength training, bodybuilding, and to be honest, I think I really like feeling strong, but I'm trying to be a bit more functional now. So rather than just doing like static deadlift, squats, bench, I'll try and do press ups, pull ups, and single leg deadlifts, that kind of thing, just more functional. But I'm also interested in boxing as well. So like, I watched the Rocky films and I was like, oh my God, this guy's so cool. I wish I could be like that. So I'm really interested in the boxing side, but because of lockdown, I've not been able to find anywhere locally to me that does any kind of like, you know, boxing or martial arts or anything like that. But again, it's something I'd love to do, because I think in terms of like cardiovascular fitness, I'm terrible. So I hate cardio so much with a passion. So the only thing I'm good at is rowing, weirdly. But I think that's but yeah, so I think boxing for me would be like my way into getting like cardiovascular fitter.
Yeah, I see. Perfect. But you like boxing.
Yes,
and
you
see that
I love weightlifting. Yeah.
That's the important part. It's like, as I said, it's doing what you like. It doesn't matter you being great at something that you don't and you're never gonna use. What's the point? That's why I don't know where's China, but I know how the body works. For me, that's why, for example, Sean likes boxing and you like weightlifting, and it's something that you love. That's gonna drive you to go without you thinking, that you just go.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's when you have the most important, you have an aim. Now, how to get better to that aim, like you without being injured, Sean, of like you with getting stronger, but not necessarily, again, being stronger doesn't necessarily mean you need to do a lot of more strength often. Just for you, Tara. Now, LJ.
Yo. Yeah, so well, I guess my training's definitely changed since having a baby, and it's just sort of time and work and just juggling it all. But just sort of, you know, doing workouts with her have been so fun recently, actually. So she's only 10 months yesterday, and she's so strong, and just I love doing little gymnastic things with her, really, and just seeing her ability, it gives me a great buzz. So she's a good training partner.
Definitely. When you have a kid, and she can be a weight as well, huh? She can be a weight as well.
Yeah.
Extra weight for you, for your core and stuff. Don't worry, she can be an extra weight. We'll come to that. We'll definitely come to that. I do not know if Sarah is here. Or she just...
Yeah,
Sarah.
I'm here. Yep.
Yeah, hey, Sarah. What are you up to?
Yeah, hi. I have actually done a couple of boxing works out over lockdown as well, so that's been really good today, actually. I also like to swim as well.
Yeah. Swimming, awesome cardio. By the way, swimming is the best cardio you can do for fighting is swimming. Because when you swim, you don't really decide of your breathing, you have to time it.
That's good.
So but you like boxing as well.
I do. It's just a shame, like it was like over lockdown, I did a couple and then it was like, oh, it's lockdown, you can't really go anywhere and do it.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. It looks like we kind of all had the same issue with the lockdown, which is finding the activity that you would be able to do as much as you want without being restricted. And for combat sports, it's pretty difficult. So actually, talking about that, I have a few ideas. If Rob, you're good with that, I have a few ideas. There's a few things that I could show you. I spend a lot of time. Okay, now long story short, I spent a bit of time in jail a few years back. I know it's like it's like one of these things, but the reason why I've been in jail was because I helped someone who was in need, and I ended up being jailed by her dad. Yeah, her dad is the prime minister. I think he's the prime minister or the the ruler of Dubai. Anyway, long story short, Rob could explain you a little bit more about that.
Yeah,
and what
you can read up on the story. It's quite it's quite a big story, but yeah.
Yeah, that's like a bit of crazy movie shit. I sometimes can't even believe that it happened to me. But anyway, the thing is finding ways to train. That there's plenty, but we always have to think outside of the box. In which sense? When you do any boxing training, any combat training, you don't necessarily need to have a target. You don't necessarily need to have a pad. You don't necessarily need to have anything else. The first thing you need to do, and that's custom for everything, is learning how to move. And that's common, learning how to move. Because even if you have the power to knock King Kong down, you will not be able to cut your hand and throw it at King Kong. You're gonna have to go and reach him. And the most important part on this is the awareness, and we all have it. If your eyes are closed, you know where something stands. So you don't really need to work a lot more than that. But one important part in combat is you have to learn to be uncomfortable with uncomfortable. That's a common thing. No matter what, you want to train it for fun, you want to train it to compete, you have to learn. You have to know combat sport is not made for you to be comfortable. Not at all. You have to learn to not be comfortable because your brain is going to be stressed all the time. With the movement, with the entire, it's going to be stressed all the time. You're going to learn to manage this stress.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. So if it's boxing that you choose, even as a hobby thing, you still have to remember, when you're not comfortable, that's when you learn. When you're not comfortable, that's when you grow. When you're not comfortable, that's where you're going to have the biggest benefits. And that's the difference between combat sports and many other sports. Because football or tennis, worst case, you lose, you win, that's okay. If it's combat sport and you compete, the person wants to take your head off or wants to take something off from you. And we're not built for that. Yeah. Now, in terms of training on its own, it's never a big quantity of a big chunk of training that's going to make you do your thing or make you continue for long. Best athletes always train small sessions, but they make these sessions count. So if I'm doing a little bit of cardio, the base of cardio is to work my heart on 3 bases. A small rate, which is like maybe 20% of what I can do, a middle range, which is going to be 50%, and the top range, which is 100% or 90 or 100%, everything that I do. So far, 30 seconds for the most relaxed, 20 seconds for the one in between, 10 seconds for the last. Normally sprints of 10 seconds. If you do that, you work your heart. So in a session of 5 minutes, you can do a lot more cardio work than you being 45 minutes on the treadmill. Yeah. But the industry of sports where we are now, we have so many informations, then it becomes difficult. Injuries, talking about injuries, Sean. Generally, injuries come for what? Fatigue, poor form in the thing that we do. Why? Because if you do not gradually start by strengthening yourself with your body weight, let's put it this way, how could you be having the strength to move a weight? Yeah. In general, and that's one, the posture makes it all. If you have a good posture, in the form, in everything that you do is always going to be, how do you say, safe. But the posture, so eventually, Sean, one thing that I could do, and I'm taking that, this is free, this is just for me, for as Rob is someone that I really appreciate, he asked me, but for each of you, like I can take a time, assess, just as a present for the new year, for Christmas and stuff, take the time, assess, give you a little bit of not feedback, like guidance of how to get rid of some injuries. For example, if it's the knee, Tara, you said something about your knee or when you were squatting before. Yeah. So
Tara's back in bed.
Yeah, she's back in bed.
I tore my ACL in 2020 and I sprained my ankle in August. So there was that, you know, when you talk about accidents, I actually just sent Robert something to send you, which is a bit hippie, but you might like to read it. Oh. But it's like having a series of accidents made me stop and think, right, I need to reassess my exercise, my mental state.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Tara. 1 second, I got that. And you're right. So you found like you had a number of accidents and you felt like it was there was a message there. I guess that's what you were saying.
Well, it's you know, I have the way that Robert and I met, I've got a few friends who do quite a lot of, I would say, more alternative stuff than I even did. I had accidents, a couple of accidents where one of them sent me this book, Learn to Heal Yourself or something, like the 70s. I read the section on accidents and it was on, you know, it's not, you can manifest, like you've just said, LJ, I'm having loads of accidents. Someone might say I'm accident prone, and in a way that set you up to have further accidents. I really didn't want that. Yeah. With my, like what they say is when after you heal, after you rehabilitate a physical injury, you're liable to do more injury to that particular part of the body, not because it's weak physically, you rehabilitate because you're frightened. The person has a fear about that. So that was kind of what I was about.
Moving in a different way.
Well, you compensate.
But then again, you see. Yeah, but you see, most of the time, like for example, a person that have a back pain, most of the time comes from his core. It's not coming from anything else. Like injuries that we have in the 40s, Yeah, I'm 44, so it's not like injuries that we have in the 40s generally are coming from one thing only: bad habit. Bad habits. And those habits, we all have them. We all have them. Why? Because when we're young, we can get away with it. You have the body more organic, so your leg, even if you bend a little bit and your knee turns a little bit, you're going to find a way. Your brain is still going to find a way to do the movement. But when you're 40, you can't anymore because the movement needs to be precise. Now, and that's the reason why I'm saying, for example, Georgie does weightlifting. So in weightlifting, you have a very safe way to learn and a very gradual way to learn. In football, like you said, Sean, we do have that as well. Sarah as well. In swimming, we do have that as well. We do have that. In yoga, you do have that as well. But in many of the things we do in between, it's bad habits we take often. Those are the things that gives us the injuries. And just a simple thing for you to understand that pattern thing is to cross your arms. Cross your arms.
Right.
Cross your arms. Right. Yeah, cross your arms. That's it. Now cross your arms the other way. You see? Cross your arms back the other way.
I only have one way.
Right, Tara. Yeah, that's it. There is one way. Try that. Try that. There is one way where it's easy because it's your fascia, meaning from the beginning. That's it. Cross your arm. And then on the other side. There is, you see, it feels weird. It feels weird. It feels weird. I can see from your face, Tara. So now see, even for you, Georgie, the base is what? It's the brain. Why I'm saying that? At a certain point, when we reach 30, 40 or something, we need to constantly assess this fascia, this part of us that make us go one way. And we have to balance it. Otherwise, it's the same for a person who does a lot of push-up. You know what you're going to have. And Sean, I'm sure if you did boxing, you know what I'm talking about. If you do a lot of push-ups, your shoulder's going to end up like that. So you lose the ability to retract your shoulder blades back. And then you cannot develop your chest. And then you're going to start having an injury here. I know many people who have ended up having a long biceps surgery because of that. Just because they didn't balance. So it's like our biggest problem for me as people is, especially when we grow, we wait until we seek to go see the doctor. You're going to wait until you have an injury to start moving. You're going to wait until it hurts to say, oh, maybe I shouldn't do. And that's our problem. That's the biggest problem.
And Chris,
and I believe that's why.
That's why you're great, because you do a position in one way. So if you twist, you'll do a spine this way, you twist afterwards. And so the reason I was making because I'm used to doing the different crossed arms in a ragdoll, which is a forward bend, and then you do, and that's one of the things I really like about it is they make you do that. So familiar, but you always do it, Robert. You need to
in both sides.
That's the best that you'll ever do. Do it the other way, and it feels strange. But every class, we should be doing that. Every class.
So, Chris, question. Chris, I have a question for you. I think I have a delay. Yeah. I have two more questions. Maybe I think you're absolutely right. If anyone wants to speak to you individually, then you've got your Instagram, and I'll share your Instagram, and you can do your consultations and everything. I think that would be an amazing gift. Thank you. My only question, because you said something to me when we spoke on the phone, so I just have like one question, something that I wanted you to share with me and other people. You said, because you're clearly doing it now, you said, what is the most important quality for a coach?
Yeah. I think the most important quality for a coach is to remember that you're a trainee or a student who teach. That's for me the most important. You you spend so much time learning from people that in reality they're your masters in a way, and you just a student who teach. So your experience is supposed to be something that you at least know or visit, but that's all you pass, and you cannot make people do how do you say, the biggest quality for me for a coach is to take someone to be able to train him without changing him, but improving the person. So I guess
knowledge.
Yeah. So I guess that's for being a coach is the most important.
And I had to ask because I keep saying that I was going to ask this question.
Yeah.
You trained a lion. What did you learn from training a lion, and how did that come about? And then I'm done for the whole. I'm done talking, but I want to hear. I want to hear the story. How did it happen?
I had a friend in Dubai. I had a friend when I was in Dubai. So I had a friend who was training, who was how do you say, taking care of one of the zoo. Yeah, taking care of one of the zoo. So then one day he rings me and tells me that he has a problem because one of the lions that they have has to be sent back in the wild. And he tells me, I do not know, but this lion has been here for 8 years. Haven't been active, so we don't really know what to do with this lion. So he asked me what do I think about. So I came up with the training system for the lion using a remote car, attaching meat on the remote car. So then the lion would. But before that, I had to study, and that's what has changed my whole perception of training. Because at the beginning, I was always training, like you say, in the book or through the book or by the book. But that was a totally different thing. So I didn't know what to do. I had to study the lion for 3 months, lions in general, to know what they do, what they're capable of doing, how they move, and all of these things. So understand the lion, to be able to create a program so then he can train and learn slowly how to become a better lion, bring him the wild way in a zoo, basically. So that was it was, and then we end up trying to get him to chase chicken and stuff like that, crazy stuff. But that made me understand one thing. Basically, training is very simple. You can say that it's different animals. No matter what you train, it's different animals. So a turtle doesn't need to do the same thing as a monkey does. So when you train a turtle, don't take the turtle, put the turtle on a tree or something. No, it's not a monkey. Monkey does that. Do that. A turtle will need water and a bit of, that's it. You train her with that. Train her to become the best turtle. And the problem in the sports we do nowadays, especially in combat, we do take strengthening from whatever, running or for the cardio from whatever, that thing from whatever. Well, in reality, all of the exercise that we do gives us already a lot of material to train. You don't need to do, let's say for me, a runner doesn't run. Why? Because you run in a ring like we did. He doesn't do, let's say, big weights because he doesn't need that. You need to be resistant. There's so many different things that we shouldn't do. Let's put it this way. That's what the experience with the lion taught me. Bollocks then I've learned was useless. I needed to learn new skills.
Yeah, what I got from you, which is something I never thought about, what you were saying is you're training for the specific function, you're training for the specific sport, and those movements are very, very specific for that part of performance. And I never really thought about that before because, as you said, I used to think running is running, but the way boxers move and run should be more conservative and reflect how you move in a ring. I never really thought about that, but I do appreciate that's going to change. And I think maybe Sean and my is probably a strength and a weakness is that I do so many different sports. Maybe I'm not a specialist in any of them, but I have my own kind of combination of fitness and skills and stuff. But I love what you said about even the shadow boxing with your eyes closed. I think you have a really good way of just focusing down into like the detail of the art form that you're trying to teach in, and it's really good. It's really, really good. You've got a very special, just a special way about you, definitely, a way of looking at life, definitely. Maybe you can come back, Chris. Maybe you can come back on another show. But
yeah.
I think I was just gonna draw this to a close, unless you have anything you want to say to people for the new year, like just an approach that they could take to the new year, I guess, and then I will close up the show, the very final show. But one thing I can say is thank you very much for joining us and giving us all that wisdom.
No, for me it's a pleasure. 1 second, I think I made a mistake. Yeah, okay. Well, the only thing that I would like to say is what, and that's for everyone. Sarah, you haven't spoken much, but I mean, and it's not like you're not part of. It's not that. I think the most important part that I'd like to add is just that. Oh, is it? Yeah, I think it froze.
You're good.
Yeah, it froze.
No, you're fine.
It froze. Okay, so the most important part is what everyone has won a race. For us to be here, we all have won a race, and that race is out of life. When you're born, you have one chance, 400 chances to be born. So that's already, for me, it's a given. And we sometimes forget that we are alive. So we have the possibility to do whatever we want at the time that we want. There's no time, no this, no anything. We have the possibility to look, like, for example, Tara, I will give you a shortcut, but normally if you do have what you have as injuries, it comes from your hamstrings. And it says that you did a lot of squats, but you never really worked on your hamstrings. So because you never worked on your hamstrings, the weakness on your heel, on your knee, and on your ankle showed after some time. Sean, I believe from what I've seen in your how do you say, in your new training, you've been doing a lot of strength, a lot of different things, but you never work enough flexibility to balance that. Georgie, for example, I could see you generally do things with a lot of energy, but when you start keeping your eyes closed, you kind of start looking at yourself and not looking at everything around, and nothing disturbs you. So that's the reason why you did better. LJ, time, small minutes, how do you say, cumulative efforts. It's not, don't try to do everything at once, get back where you are, stressing out of it because you don't yet get to where you are. But step by step, go to it. You have your time. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes here, it makes it. The only thing that I'm saying is, after seeing you, I've seen a lot of different things, but remember, your own best friend, and the best person to give you advice is the person who's gonna kick your butt inside of you, who's gonna say, okay, well, you get injured, learn how not to get injured. Like you did, you went to see a personal trainer and so on. If you like something, if you love something, just, excuse my French, but fucking do it, because life is short. I almost got killed with this story that Rob will share with you. I almost got killed, and that made me understand one thing. The most important thing in life is life. Because if you're not alive, you cannot talk about any of these things. So if there's some things in your life that you want to do, just do. No time. If it's boxing, start from yesterday. That's it.
Chris, thank you, dude. Thank you. You're right. Yeah, that is a round of applause.
My pleasure.
Yeah, that is a round of applause.
No, my pleasure. It's
thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to shoot, because I'm gonna have to shoot now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shoot. don't hesitate to get in touch or anything. If you need anything, I'm always there, through Rob, not through Rob. It's up to you. I'm gonna have to shoot quickly, otherwise I'm busy. Guys, it's been a pleasure meeting all of you, and I just hope that we can do that again.
You're gonna.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the prayer. Don't worry. I'm gonna do the prayer. Don't worry.
Yeah, it keeps working. It keeps working up. There's too many. Zoom is killing the market now. Yeah. All
right, Chris. Yes, we always. If you have to go, you can go. Look, he's gone. He just just talk, and go. I love that. Well, thank you, Tara. Thank you, everyone. We set a goal, as I said, to do this to the end of the year. I'm doing a personal training course in January. From January, finally. I've met so many coaches now, haven't I? I've met about 12, 13 different coaches. Every single one of them says, look, if you want to do this, then just do it. And I really enjoy it. Don't have to do it for the rest of your life, but I've met a lot of amazing coaches. Clearly, I like to work out, so I'm doing that. The reason I say that is because I may pause this. I did promise myself, most importantly, to do this to the end of the year. And because I promised myself, it's been so great. People like Chris, it's like I have to find a coach, and they just come into my life because I've got my eyes open for someone to help me with TEMPL. So it's been amazing. I appreciate every single one of you. I really appreciate your support, Georgie. LJ's been to every single one, except one. I don't know, you forgot in Feb or something, but you've basically been there, because it would be embarrassing if it was literally just me on my own. So LJ, I really, really appreciate it. Sean, I always appreciate you. You looked great with the boxing. You looked really, really great. And I think everyone's safe. Whenever you're injured, it's just everyone's safe from you, basically, because when you're not injured, it's a problem. And Sarah, thank you for joining. Sarah, you led the prayer a couple of months ago, and I really appreciate that. I remember every single one of these has been very special. So, unless anyone has anything to say, I will leave you with a prayer. I never write these down, but it's always a prayer of gratitude. So, dear God, in Jesus' name, thank you for bringing us all together again. Thank you for the commitment and passion of people like Chris. Thank you for creating this platform and just keeping it going, because I have no idea who's going to turn up or if the connection is going to support me, but it always has so far. So I've learned trust, and I've learned also, as Chris said, to be uncomfortable and keep coming back. So thank you. Please keep everyone safe over Christmas into next year, and keep blessing everyone with moments of inspiration. Let everyone remember what it is they really love and what it is they really want to do, and give us the courage to do more of that every day, as Chris said. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, guys. Have a good Christmas.
Well done, Rob, mate. Well done. Have a good Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everyone. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, dude. Have a good day. We'll speak. I'll be in touch. Cheers, guys.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you.